When I first ran for Congress in 2012 against a 16-year incumbent, I was running proudly on reproductive rights and ending the drug war and ending the prohibition on marijuana and making sure that we are fulfilling our commitment to our service members and celebrating our connection with Mexico. El Paso is connected with Ciudad Juarez. It forms the largest binational community in this hemisphere, and it's part of the reason that we are such a safe city today. On any of those issues, which could be controversial or contentious, or maybe the pollsters would tell us not to talk about, the people in El Paso were glad that someone was finally championing the things that they were thinking about. Or even if they disagreed with me, they loved the fact that I had formed an opinion, come to a conclusion, had thought it through, and had the courage of my convictions, and was willing to talk about it out on the campaign trail. And I think the same holds true for Texas. We talk about universal health care. Perhaps not the thing you're supposed to talk about running statewide in Texas. Or that Medicare for all is the best articulation of how you get there right now. But it's not just in Houston and Austin and Dallas and San Antonio, the Rio Grande Valley and El Paso, the conventionally blue communities. It is in the rural parts of the state, in Sherman, Texas, and Wichita Falls, and Canyon, and Booker, in Pecos. Folks want to be able to see a doctor and make sure that their kids are okay, to take care of their families, to be healthy enough to go to work, to finish their education, to pursue their potential and their purpose. And they know that having health care is fundamental to that. So they are there. And now maybe what we call it is important. Maybe who's talking about it is critical. Maybe the way in which we listen and share what we've heard from these different communities is part of it. But I'm convinced that Texas is already there. And so we're talking about the things that are important to Texans.
But Medicare for all in Texas. Now, I agree with you, but I think some people in El Paso might say you have cojones, okay, to run. And that was the #1 issue you mentioned when I asked, right? In this answer. So you're sure that's gonna work in Texas? I mean, because I hear from the National Democrats, oh my God, don't do Medicare for all. That's just fight Trump and resist, but don't go forward. And especially in Texas, they say, no, just do Republican light. Why Medicare for all? Why do you think that's gonna win?
Yeah, so I feel like I owe those whom I want to represent my honesty, and they need to know our vision for getting to what so many of them have described as the goal, which is that everyone should be able to see a doctor when they need to, should be able to be healthy, should be able to get healthy. And the only way, and I'm not a expert on this by any means, but the only way that I understand that you can get there is to have some kind of a single payer model. And the best one going right now in the United States of America is Medicare. It's got a 2% overhead administrative cost. It has excellent customer satisfaction. It can always be improved, and I'm sure there's a way that we can do that. And I think by extending the universe of people who can enroll in Medicare, maybe initially having it as a public option on the exchanges, allow Medicare to compete with private insurers, drive down cost for all concerned, improve outcomes and quality of care, and then maybe ultimately through stages get to universal and a single payer system. That's the only way I know how to get there. So it's one thing, sometimes Democrats or maybe Republicans as well will say, well, we just need to find a way to work together, listen to the stakeholders and the policy experts, and drive down the cost of healthcare and improve access and affordability. That's great. How are you going to do it? And there are some very specific proposals on the table today, and I think they warrant a discussion and a debate. And I know through that process they will be perfected. And certainly we should listen to Republicans and independents and those experts who can help us to make those better proposals. But every single wealthy democracy in the world today, and many of the poor ones, have some form of universal health care, and their total cost, their outcomes, the health of their citizens far exceed what we're seeing here in the United States. And I think there's something to be learned from that. There's something very uniquely American that we can bring to that and deliver something far better for our constituents. And so, and it's connected to every other thing that we care about, to education, to work, to our quality of life.